Hey, thank you for tuning into the Banff Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Lafferty. Here is my co-host, Jacob Blackmon, and Walter Billiard will be along shortly. And today,
Indeed.
you care to tell the nice people at home what we will be looking over today, Jacob?
Today we are going to be looking over the Renegade Studios PDF for G.I. Joe, the role-playing game.
I have a brief musical introduction.
Yo, Joe! We'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there.
And that's probably all I can show without getting a copyright strike. So this is, hey, Walt's here.
Walt's
Hey,
here.
Walt, glad you could join us, sir.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Yep.
All right, good.
So yeah, I signed up for the pre-order pretty much when they announced it and made it available on the Renegade Game Studios, and I signed up for a regular copy, which the cover you're seeing is right here, but they sent me a deluxe version. So thank you, Renegade Game Studios. It's all pretty and it says wherever there's trouble on the back. It's nice. I love you.
It must be because they know you're on the Banff Podcast.
I would like to think so.
Yeah. And hey, there's Bear. Hey, Bear. So
Bear with a machine gun. Okay.
You don't want to mess with a bear with a machine gun.
No.
So is it weird that we're making RPGs about 30-year-old, 35-year-old kids TV shows?
No, not at all. The reason for this is the huge nostalgia craze for everything that used to be the childhood favorite of all of us during the 1980s. That all that stuff is just now swinging over because the people who grew up with this during the 80s are now the designers and publishers of RPG companies. They want to make RPGs of the things they wanted as a kid. Who here didn't want an RPG of G.I. Joe as a kid or Transformers? Come on. I would have loved that. And now we have them. Thank you, Renegade Game Studios. Thank you.
I am still negotiating the rights for Marshall Bravestar as a collectible card game. But I'll let you. Okay, anyway, back to G.I. Joe.
Okay, so yeah, we're going to be flipping through the PDF. This may take a little while because it is, like we did with the Transformers book, it is a pretty chunky book. And there's a lot of good visuals and stuff to see. Much like with Transformers, it uses the same system, the Essence 20 system. And it's kind of a mix between 5th edition and Savage Worlds in how it works, where you roll a d20 and then you add bonus from a skill check, but instead of being a flat bonus like a +2 or a +4, you instead get bonus dice. So a skill, if you're skilled in something, the lowest skill roll you'll have is a d2, then it goes up to d4, d6, d8, etc., from there on. And yeah, otherwise, it's a really cool looking system, and let's start going through it. Like the Transformers book, there's a lot of gorgeous original art in here, but of course there is also a couple of pieces that look like they came from the IDW comics.
Can you do the review in the voice of Cobra Commander?
I do not have a Cobra Commander voice. That is not. I have mastered a few cartoon voices, but Cobra Commander is not one that I am skilled at. It's also the Starscream voice, and again, really can't do it. It's a high-pitched, raspy voice, but that, as you can hear me trying to emulate it there, it's not accurate.
Okay, I was just trying to be funny. So this is some cool artwork here, though. Hey, there's Sean Vera in the comments. Hey, Sean, good to see you, sir.
So yeah, you got at the start you have a really cool debriefing, which introduces you as though you are a new GI Joe recruit, learning everything about GI Joe from the ground level. Talk about how it operates, how GI Joe brings in the best of the best from military and civilian operations to work, and then they talk about the people who they're going up against, which is usually Cobra and all their massive worldwide organization. So again, gorgeous original art of all these major characters who we've known forever. And then there's a really nice roster of famous GI Joes that you should know in the series. There are a couple who you're not going to see in here, unfortunately. You're not going to see Sergeant Slaughter, because as much as everyone loves Sergeant Slaughter, the copyright to that character is problematic. It's difficult to negotiate with the WWE, and considering he left the WWE and went to other places, it's hard to get that. So you can have Sergeant Slaughter as much as you want in your own game. I just doubt that you're ever going to see the character in an official Renegade Studios product.
So I guess that means you're not going to have William Perry in there either.
Very doubtful.
Okay. You say it's... Wait, Sean, are you saying it's Sergeant Slaughter's birthday today?
It was either today or yesterday. I saw a notice online.
Oh, that's cool. All right. Happy birthday, Sergeant Slaughter. And thanks to everybody in the comments. Good to see you, Sean.
But much like what they did with the Transformers, in this roster, they tried to include as much diversity as they could, because there was a lot of white guys in the old GI Joe roster, so they tried to include as many women and people of color who have appeared. And honestly, I'm surprised that as many white male characters dominate the scene, considering Stalker is one of the more famous GI Joe characters, and he is just a cool black guy. He's just awesome. And of course, freaking Roadblock. Everyone loves Roadblock. Yeah, but of course, if you're going to play Roadblock, you better be ready to rhyme, because that's part of his character. It's on his sheet.
So can you make up your own Joes?
Yes, you can make you're encouraged to make up your own Joes. But they have Renegade Studios has been releasing as individual PDFs on their website character sheets for official Joes. The classic Snake Eyes, because everyone has to have Snake Eyes.
So you go to Renegade Studios website and they have content that's not in the book?
That is correct.
Oh, okay.
They already have an adventure besides the main book here. They have an adventure, a GM screen. They've started releasing miniatures. That's most of the stuff that's currently out.
Okay. Oh, they have a dice set. That's cool.
Yes, they have some official dice sets as well.
Oh, that's pretty cool. They're doing all right.
So yeah, like we did with the Transformers game, character creation. They want you to start with character concept. What role are you going to fill? Where did your character come from in either the military and or civilian branches? That sort of thing. And what kind of influences.
Walt, you still there?
I am, yeah. I think he got blasted.
Okay. Well, that's a bummer. Hope he comes back. Well, hey, I suppose we can take a minute then to look at the Renegade Studios website. Wait, I'm getting a message from Jacob. He's rebooting. He'll be back momentarily. So
That happens.
it's a thing. It happens to everybody. Nothing to be ashamed of. Men of a certain age. Okay, so looking at the PDF downloads we've got, they've got an adventure right here. I don't see the characters he was talking about, but if we go back to the G.I. Joe page, So you were a G.I. Joe fan back in the day, right, Walt?
Oh yeah, I loved them. Loved the comics. Some of the IDW stuff was okay. Periodically, it just got goofy, like most GI Joe does. But yeah, I really enjoyed the comics back in the day. They were just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, Larry Hama was pretty great.
Yeah, which I was very surprised that he had a role in doing this latest Snake Eyes movie. What a
Really?
hot bag of garbage that was.
I heard it was bad, so I didn't even bother. It was
No, just don't.
okay. All right, good to know.
I mean, like really terrible. And I mean, the actors did a great job, but no.
Okay, yeah, it's always hit or miss. I mean, the movie with The Rock, I thought was all right. I don't know if I saw the one before that one, but
The GI Joe movies, they were okay.
yeah,
They weren't great. Mostly because they really didn't they like in the first movie they tried to embrace all that Sigma 6 nonsense.
hmm
All the super suits and blah blah
yeah,
blah. And I mean
yeah,
that's that. I mean the real fun of GI Joe was kind of like a comic book adaptation to a combined arms group. Where you have multiple levels of people from different agencies working together. That was really the benefit of those shows, and then that horrid movie. Oh my god.
Which one are you talking about? The cartoon?
Yes. No, not the cartoon. I thought you were going to say like which of the live action movies. It's like yes.
Yeah, were there two or three of those? I guess if you count
There's
the
two and a
Snake Eyes,
half.
the 2.5, yeah, yeah.
you
Did
know
you see that Warren Ellis written cartoon from a few years ago? G.I. Joe Resolute?
Yes, the Snake Eyes part was okay, but after that, it was just another hot mess.
Yeah, I like some of the gunfights in that. But
You know, I mean, it was more. It was. We had Ellis doing the Ellis thing where it's like, let's talk about this weird love triangle between Scarlet and Duke and Snake Eyes, and it's like, bro, we want to see red and blue lasers passing back and forth and cool vehicles and stuff. Come on.
yeah, yeah. It's I gotta say, I don't know. This was kind of around the same time as the Transformers, and if you look at both the franchises, how they've adapted the Transformers to live action and G.I. Joe to live action, um, it's sort of the same kind. I mean, it's not quite a bait and switch, but you came into it because you had this, nostalgia for this old thing, and the movie you got was not quite the same flavor.
Yes.
But did you ever hear the old story how it was supposed to be Shield?
What?
Yeah, it was supposed to be Shield. But this was back in the days when Stan Lee was doing all the licensing negotiations for Marvel,
Oh
and
God.
Stan Lee was kind of just hot garbage to negotiate with, so they couldn't get a deal. So they decided to make up GI Joe instead, and Cobra
Wow.
instead of Shield and Hydra. And they wound up being a Marvel comic anyway. But
Yeah. But I mean, if you think about it, like GI Joe originally was those old comics. I mean, those old action figures from back in the day, the 12-inch action figures.
those are the ones I had when I was a little kid. Yeah.
So like, oh wow, Agents of Shield, no kidding.
Yeah, it could have been fun. I mean, a little more colorful than we usually get
Yeah.
for Shield personalities. But yeah,
Craziness.
yeah. It's a behind the scenes stuff.
So did we want to drop the hatchet? Oh God, almost dropped my phone. Did we want to drop the hatchet on this?
Jacob says he's coming back. So hey, we could talk about right now?
Hit me.
Agents of Banff.
Agents of Banff.
Remember this?
Mm-hmm. I do.
About January of 2021, we did a. This was kind of our homage to G.I. Joe. and we did it for the same system as Valor Knights, and had a great cover by Dave Bernarski.
Nice.
Although I think we go a little more towards weirdness than military stuff. But yeah, back in the day, and that's on drive-through for just $4.99. So
Drive-through RPG.
And I'm told we're going to be doing a Valor Knights and Valor Knights Agents of Banff crossover in the coming year. Yeah. Sean Vera says the comic series was originally going to be a Shield series. It was repurposed. Yeah. Okay, cool. So if you were going to play G.I. Joe, Walt, what system would you want to use?
Well, let's see. Seeing as now I have movement because my home internet is not working, we can just say there is the perfect system for this already.
Oh, let's talk about this one.
Search and destroy. So that for me would be G.I. Joe because it's already set up for it.
You know, we should play that on some of our Monday games.
We have several times, and I am ready to do more.
Sweet. Cool. You know, that Warren Ellis thing, I wasn't aware there was a love triangle between Lady J.
Well, it was Scarlet, Duke, and Snake Eyes.
Okay.
And it just got weird because I mean they're fighting in this like they're fighting with this in this like it was like a oil rig platform and everything was blowing up, and now suddenly Duke wants to talk about his feelings. I'm like, really? Just stop. Just stop. And secondly, Duke is supposed to be a first sergeant. Mm-hmm. After the rank of E6, you have feelings surgically removed. Mm. So,
all right, maybe you should have been a consultant on that, man.
No, they won't consult me on that. They aren't willing to pay my fee to eliminate the copious amounts of garbage that modern Marvel Comics is going to put into it.
Marvel isn't. I mean, it's all IDW now, isn't it? Or did they lose the license?
I'm not sure who has it now. I know IDW had it. But I also knew they put like a whole bunch of their G.I. Joe comics on sale at one point. So if they renewed it?
Yeah, I honestly don't know. There was a G.I. Joe Transformers crossover in recent history.
I know, I read it. It wasn't actually, that was an IDW and it wasn't half bad.
Really? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I will have to check that out.
So it looks like Jacob is out of gas.
Sean says, anyone ever own the USS Flag? I mean, I wanted to.
That thing was huge. There was no way it was fitting in my house as a kid.
Yeah, I would have had to build, put it in the back shed or something.
Yep.
Built on an addition for it. Hey, coming in from the stands with a metal chair.
There he is.
Blackmon. Hey, Jacob.
Sorry about that, folks. Been having some power outages where I am kind of frequently. It's been very annoying. So let me load this PDF back up and get my screen sharing going back on.
It's cool. We were just talking about the G.I. Joe Transformers crossover.
Yes. What actually you now have to say which one. There have been multiples. I assume you're talking about the old one.
If that's the cover I have, yeah. I know there was a more recent one that was kind of trippy, but I didn't read that one. So,
well, IDW, considering they got the property to everything, of course, did a version. So. All right, let's see. Where were we here? And character creation. Okay.
I'm going to start singing in about 10 seconds just to try and keep listeners entertained. So it's fast, man.
Hey, Mike. Hey, I'm going to have to bounce.
All right, cool. Good
All
talking to you.
Thanks, guys.
Later, Walt. See ya.
All right. So yeah, we're talking. So as we're continuing with the PDF here, we get into character creation, where we start to talk about character concepts, inspirations, and influences. How you want your character to operate within a team, and GI Joe, like everything, is a team game. You really as much as everyone wants to be the main character, do not create that character. You are supposed to be a member of a team, work with someone, create a character who will work in a team.
You can't all be savage loners, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Can't be a whole team full of Snake Eyes.
No. As much as everyone wants to be Snake Eyes, while you can create a ninja, you are going to be a ninja who's part of a team. So yeah,
I'd like to create an Irishman who's a ninja. My code name would be the Ginger Ninja. Sorry, go ahead.
That is, if the GM will allow it, fine. After all, as long as they bring something useful and influential to GI Joe, that is the entire idea. No one may expect a ginger ninja. Who knows? So yeah, as most things, this game expects you to start at first level, which honestly, I honestly believe that this is a mistake on the part of Renegade Studios, because GI Joe, at its core concept, is supposed to be taking the best of the best. You're not supposed to be first level, I'm just starting kind of people. You're supposed to have a full background. You're supposed to be, known in the military. You're not supposed to be Joe Soldier as much as GI Joe is in the name. You're supposed to be exceptional.
That was kind of the premise, yeah.
So, if honestly, if I were starting this game, I'd probably start you more like 5th level, where you've got some speeds under your belt. That's just me. So, so yeah, influences. This is where you're going to be talking about how your character operates, how their personality, how they think, what their motivations are. Background things like what their skill set is, what they were doing before they became a Joe, and what made them join the military or go into the profession that attracted GI Joe to them. So exceptionally good cooks, because the military runs on its stomach is the classic saying. GI Joe needs good cooks. And sometimes you have to go undercover, and sometimes you need a cook, because who really looks at the chef when at those big giant gala parties when evil people get together to wine and dine and talk about their master plans? No one looks at the cook.
I feel like we're edging towards a 80s action movie reference, but I'm gonna let it lie.
I believe that would be a Steven Seagal movie, and that should never be referenced because Steven Seagal is a jerk. Yes, you heard it here. Steven Seagal is a jerk.
He gives a really good foot massage, though. That's what I've heard from some of the guys at the YMCA. I'm sorry, please continue.
But yeah, there as you can see from this flip through, there you can come from all sorts of things. They even include a lot of civilian options for those who don't want to be from a military background, which I thought was really cool.
Was there a Joe who was like that?
I'm not sure if there were in any of the official series, but they're trying to open up and broaden the horizons for the RPG.
Okay, fair enough.
There were some Joes who had, less than military themes to their character. Like there was the basketball GI Joe who was introduced in like the movie, who did his own sports commentating while he did everything.
Or the aforementioned William Perry, who was a defensive lineman for the Chicago Bears in 1985. Sean Vera says Renegade must have one hell of an art budget for their products. There's so much great artwork, and you're
Seriously,
right.
though,
It looks like a coffee table edition. It really does.
The art in here is amazing, especially how much original art is in here. There are some scattered IDW images, but the most of the art in here is original. And considering how well, I know these characters, I can just point out who each one of these is. And their art team did a great job. So yeah, here's where we come to your military origins and things you could have been doing in the military, whether you were a basic soldier in the army, or you were part of special forces, if you were part of the air cav and army, Navy, all the different jobs you could have had in the Navy. Were you a Marine? Were you on the Coast Guard? Air Force. There's more than just being a pilot in the Air Force. There are drone operators. There are mechanics. All sorts of useful, neat, interesting jobs.
Did they mention Space Force?
I do not believe there is a Space Force, no, because I don't think that's an official part of our military as much as 45 wanted it to be.
Okay.
So yeah, and then of course non-branch specific origins. This is where you're getting into civilian stuff like first responders. Are you part of fire and rescue? Are you part of police? Are you a police officer? Are you a covert ops or intelligence agent? An engineer? A non-military civilian? You can do all sorts of fun things here. Scientists have their place. Engineers and electronics, they're all good. Then, of course, you have the rules. These are the classes. There are 20 levels, as is usual for a D20 system. And as you go up levels, certain different bonuses are accelerated. You get different skills and perks and features, just like you'd imagine. And yeah, the Commando is the Snake Eyes class. So if you want to be Snake Eyes, be a Commando. Of course, that operates also the Scarlet class. So she was awesome.
That's cool. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What background do I have?
It looks like you have a blurry room.
Okay, cool.
And then, of course, there are specializations. That for the Commando, there was like the sniper, the spy.
So vehicles were a huge part of this franchise.
Oh yes, they have that in here. As we move through the different classes here. As you can see, it's a large selection of perks, feats, traits. Everything good classes need. And yes, GI Joe was incredibly vehicle heavy, and this game accommodates that. There are tons of vehicles that are in the equipment section. There are huge sections of the combat chapter that deal with bringing vehicles into the game, because you're going to be doing that a lot. How many people can be hanging off the side of a vehicle based on its side and shooting at Cobra agents? They have rules for that.
So what are the chase rules like?
It mostly has to do with the different factors of vehicle speeds and your skill roll, and trying to match or beat DC. There's a lot of competitive checks when it comes to chase rules. that sort of thing. As we get through the skills here, yeah, they have a thing where if you have a skill, you know it. If you don't have a skill but you're required to roll a skill check for that thing, you roll it at disadvantage. So you kind of want to be well-rounded, so you don't have to suffer those disadvantages. But at the same time, you have to think about, if I'm not the right one for this, maybe someone else on my team is. So hand it off to your team specialists. Don't always, like I said, don't try to be the main character. Everyone has their place in the team.
So it sounds like this might be a session 0 where we're all doing character gen together.
Absolutely. You absolutely want to have everyone together when you're creating characters. That way you can figure out who's doing what and what kind of different specializations you're going to have. And yeah, they have fun little feats and traits here, like Kung Fu Grip. That was the classic GI Joe hand that was designed to hold any weapon they came with.
Yeah,
I don't know the Kung Fu Grip.
I don't know if you remember the like the Barbie-sized GI Joes from the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
There are some of them you could press a little button and they would do that. So it's kind of cool. Hey, do you see a background for me now that says Ginger Ninja?
Yes, I do.
All right, just checking. On payday, Jacob, he would say, "I've got the gingerbread." Sorry,
okay.
Continue.
Okay. And there are certain feats and traits in here that everyone's going to love. You can have an animal companion or drones, because think about how many different animal companions there were in GI Joe.
I remember a dog. I remember an eagle. I remember a parrot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we come to the equipment section.
Okay.
But when I was talking about the Transformers equipment section, I was talking about how arcane and convoluted it was. Pardon me, I need a drink of water.
Yeah, if I recall, that was your big problem with the system.
It was because I hadn't read enough through it. And apparently it is done in a military style where you requisition equipment for your adventures. You don't normally have, this is my gun, I carry my gun around and all that. No. When you go on a mission, you go to the requisitions office, and there is certain equipment you can get all the time, like you can get your assault rifle, a pistol, a combat knife, some grenades. That's the usual loadout.
Mm-hmm.
But then you might be able to get, depending on the mission, you might be able to get specialized equipment like some C4 or heavier machine guns, that sort of thing, sniper rifles, depending on what you need. You can also have certain perks based on your class or feat that you've gotten that give you access to restricted equipment. So, pardon me, I need some water here. So,
no worries.
Chat. Yeah, feeling a little dry. Okay. So yeah.
So is there a rule where if your character gets killed in the adventure in the very last scene, they can say, "Hey, wait, he's okay"?
Yeah. The game does not encourage killing of at least of PC characters. If you are reduced to 0 health points and you only have a few at first level, you may only have like between 4 to 7 health points, and guns and most weapons do anywhere from 1 to 3 points of damage.
Mm-hmm.
So you really don't want to get shot or hurt or stabbed. This game encourages you to take cover and not take injury, like proper soldiers should be trained to do. So yeah, the equipment section is pretty much all about requisitioning equipment. As you can see, it has certain things up here where certain things are going to be restricted or limited based on its quality. And there are, of course, a lot of weapons that aren't on the restricted list that you can easily get access to. And then of course there are weapon upgrades, scopes, longer barrels, extended magazines, making your rifles shoot lasers instead of normal bullets, because half the battle is red and blue lasers. That's wisdom knowledge.
Shanvera says, I think the Acton Cthulhu D2D20 did a similar thing with their equipment, as the characters are basically special forces. Weapons are issued as needed for the mission beyond basic loadout. That makes sense.
Exactly. And then of course you have your battle dress, which is your the gear and equipment that you normally carry. Kits, which are the general equipment you have, communications, med kits, all that sort of thing. Pets, there are long rules of pet perks, how to train pets, how to advance pets, drone pets, how to make those improvements in technological devices, because drones are now a big thing in the military. They use drones for all sorts of things: spy missions, combat missions, defusing bombs, so we don't have to endanger people with that sort of thing. And then, of course, vehicles. And G.I. Joe is known for its vehicles. Just look at this front page here. It's only a quarter page piece, but these are some iconic vehicles that you got here. You got these two Cobra vehicles here being pursued by two Joe jets, and that's just a great looking piece.
I guess we should ask if the USS Flag makes an appearance.
I don't know. It might. I'll have to take a look. But yeah, various traits and perks and powers, and there are not every Joe vehicle is in this book, but I would like to say the mainstay vehicles are in here. You of course get the APC, the Striker. I forget what the Dragonfly was. Was it that was the assault helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
It was the small 1 to 2 seat helicopter.
Oh yeah, that's tight.
They needed a little more vehicle art in this, I think, because there's a couple of things in here that don't have art pieces to them. The hovercraft, the killer whale, this thing showed up all the time.
Yeah, the Dragonfly was flown by Wild Bill Hickok.
Yeah. The Ram motorcycle, the Shark, which is the submersible aircraft. It was either in the water or the air. That I love G.I. Joe for that random quirky vehicles.
And Sean says, by the way, if you do a sequel book to Agents of Math, we're down to back or purchase. Again, it was fun. Hey, thanks, Sean. I think we are actually talking about doing a crossover with Valor Knights for that. So,
yep.
In the future.
The Skyhawk, I remember seeing these things quite often. Those were always fun.
Skyhawk,
like I say, you always had these sleds here that Joes would hang on to from the outside for some stupid reason. It's like, don't be doing that. You want to be in the vehicle, not hanging off it while you're flying hundreds of feet in the air. Are you crazy?
Well, it looked cool. That's what it was all about. Oh wow, geez, I don't remember the Skyhawks. That is interesting.
Yeah, the ubiquitous F-16, which this is the
Sky
Strikers.
Yeah, they just released whatever Hasbro's in-house version of Lego is, Creo. They just released a Creo version of that.
Okay. That's neat. And then, of course, the Vamp, which, of course, you see these on the Cobra side as well.
Oh yeah.
They made the Vamps. They have green versions that are for Joe's and black and red versions that are for Cobra.
And it must be awkward going to the dealership to get service done.
Yeah.
You're right there in the lobby.
Hey! Yeah.
How'd your car get all shut up, guys? Huh? Yeah.
Cobra.
Yeah. Oh wow, that was some cool art.
Yeah, that was one of the IDW pieces. But yeah, they have in order to accommodate all the vehicles and the fact that you get vehicles of different size and scale, they have a size and scale reference chart for if you're normal size and you're trying to shoot a big giant cargo plane, you're going to take a penalty. You're probably going to hit it, but the damage is going to be reduced so much because of the thick armor or something that you're not going to do anything to it. And they take that all into account with these size categories and modifiers. And this works the same way with their Transformers and the Power Rangers, and using their mecha and giant monsters, so that sizing scale and that always changes. And it all works on the same system. You just have to take penalties or you get bonuses based on what you're dealing with.
And Brian Cruiser, hey Brian, weighs in and says that the Sky Striker is based on the F-14, the sexy star of Top Gun.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure the sexy star of Top Gun is Tom Cruise, but I'll let it go.
That's to be debated whether it was Tom Cruise or Val Kilmer.
Fair enough.
Because Val Kilmer did look very nice back then, with the whole Iceman look. Those names,
yeah.
You can tell those were names they gave themselves, and not real military call signs.
Have you seen Val Kilmer lately?
I have.
Yeah, poor. It's been a rough time for Val.
Yeah, well, some people have good times, some people have less.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, the size class variations. Here's a chart, a handy dandy chart for what size you are, what size the vehicle is, and the bonuses and penalties you're going to take based on the shift.
All right.
So they have it all nice and available here for you.
And there is a sample adventure in the back.
There is a sample adventure in the back. It involves a new Cobra agent who is trying to create giant tarantulas.
That sounds right out of Saturday Afternoon.
Do with that what you will.
Well, that's cool. Can we talk you into doing at least a character gen session on the podcast sometime?
Once I give it a good read through with like I did with the Transformers, I may be able to convince to do that. Yes, I have a really good idea for an opening G.I. Joe adventure, and I think it would be really cool. But I think it would be something more like I'd want to do on a live stream Twitch channel, and not just as a 1 hour afternoon sort of thing. This would be a game I would want to dedicatedly run, because I think the idea would be really neat, and it would be cool for people to see as a game. It would be a short game, maybe like 2 or 3 sessions total, but that'd be what I have in mind. All
right, cool. We have a Twitch channel, we just don't ever use it, but If you want to, we can talk about it offline.
And yeah, towards the back of the book here,
Mhm.
Cobra Commander, so you can punch him in the face. Because who doesn't want to punch Cobra Commander in the face?
How about Sir Pentor?
Sir Pentor is not in here.
What? I saw
No.
the art for him in there.
Yes, there is Sir Pentor art in here, but he is not in here. He is a character I thought was missing. But you get most of the main Cobras. You get Baroness, you get Destro, Dr. Mindbender, you get Tomax and Zaymot, Firefly, Major Blood. Cobra Troopers and Infantry, Vipers.
And I'm sure someone's going to ask, but I'm just going to assume this game is strongly encouraging you to play as the Joes and not as the Cobra agents.
Yeah, that is correct. Although the Renegade has mentioned they are going to make a supplement where you can play Cobra.
Okay.
And bats. It's too bad they don't have a picture of the bats here. The Battle Android Troopers became a mainstay of the show in later seasons.
Well, you could bash them up. You could.
Yeah, it was a way to let G.I. Joe actually shoot people because they were robots. Who cared? They weren't actual people. You could unload your guns right into all these mindless robot soldiers. Tomax and Zaymot, so you can punch one in the face and the other will feel it.
So Sean was asking, did you get the GM screen? I like the adventures that came with that one.
I have not yet picked up the GM screen. No, I have been poor since it came out because it came out just before Gen Con, and I was saving up for Gen Con. I did not manage to pick one up at Gen Con because I had my money stowed away for other things. TM.
Mm-hmm.
But since coming home from Gen Con, I have been of the poor. So I'm waiting for my cash resources to restock so I can go out and get more of the games that I want to collect. And yes, the G.I. Joe GM screen is, of course, on the list of things I want to get soon. Zartan. Everyone hates Zartan. Let's punch Zartan in the face.
And here is a... I wish the bats had been this cool on the TV show, but there's some fan art of a bat.
Yeah. And of course, Zorana.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's a gripe I have about G.I. Joe, and I'm just going to let this out there. There can be more than one clan of ninja. But no, there isn't. There's only one. There's the Arashikage. And both Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow come from the Arashikage.
Mm-hmm.
There is a good side of the Arashikage and the evil Arashikage. The good Arashikage team with G.I. Joe. The bad ones team with Cobra. They're the same clan. You can have more than one clan. Marvel, you can have more than just the hand. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you can have more than just the foot. G.I. Joe, you can have more than one clan besides just the Arashikage. Please, for the love of God, come up with another clan. One side is good, one side is bad. You don't have to have one clan with good and bad side.
You seem quite passionate about this issue, Jacob.
I'm tired of one ninja clan.
Well, what if
it is a huge trope in comics that needs to stop. There's more than one ninja clan in the world.
What if we had a competing ninja clan that was from the Louisiana Bayou? Would you like that?
No. That is unacceptable.
That is a deep cut, folks. I'm sorry. I know Jacob's hatred of Gambit. I just had to bring it up.
Trouble Bubbles.
Trouble Bubbles.
Who doesn't want to shoot down a trouble bubble?
Bolsheviks. That's who. That's just good, clean fun right there, sir.
His
I can't believe.
tanks. Look at that. Look at his tank.
How don't they have an image of a trouble bubble? That seems.
Yeah, that again. That's where see all these last several entries have been Cobra specific vehicles. Why is there no vehicle art for this? There should be a vehicle art for each one of these. But the first 4 things don't have vehicle art.
I mean, it's not like it doesn't exist. I mean, you could literally go talk to Hasbro.
Exactly.
And, yeah, I mean, there's the trouble bubble.
Yeah. It's one of my few gripes about this book is there's a couple of vehicles that needed some art pieces. Even if they did just like the blue art pieces that they did for the G.I. Joe vehicles, they didn't have to do the full color piece like you see here. They could have just done the blue and white line. So yeah. The Rattlers, which are the A10 Warthog, otherwise known as.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is. And if you don't get that reference, you should look it up.
If Walt was here, he could elaborate.
The Mores. I loved the Mores. It was such a cool looking boat.
It's a cool looking boat. Night Raven. Reconnaissance jet. And here we get into running a mission. I'm guessing we're almost at the back of the book.
This is pretty much the back of the book where they tell you how to run your mission, how to utilize environment to its mission, and the fact that Cobra goes over the top with Cobra missions should never be about we're going to steal some money. No, Cobra missions are we're going to attach rockets to the moon. And if we don't get our $1 billion ransom, we're going to ignite the rockets and crash it into Earth. Yes, we live here, but we're evil.
And Sean says, I agree with Jacob about the vehicle art. So we're treading towards treading through the adventure here. So what, are you prepared to give a review, or are you still kind of withholding judgment so you can read more thoroughly?
For the most part, I like the look of this book. There, like I said, there's a few art pieces that I think needed to be in here. There is, I would have liked to have seen some character sheets in the main book regarding some of the G.I. Joe heroes, but like I said, they've been releasing those as separate content on their website for free. You can download them for free. And otherwise, I think this is an excellent book. I highly recommend it for any fans of G.I. Joe. If you enjoy just general military adventure, you may like this book for that as well, because they have really good rules for how to utilize interpersonal combat, ground to air, how different size scales of vehicles and all that sort of thing. So if you want just wanting to utilize for general military purposes that don't have anything to do with fighting ruthless terrorist organizations determined to rule the world, you can do that.
All right, cool. Well, thanks to everyone in the comments. Thanks, Jacob. Walt, sorry you had to bail early. And any closing thoughts before we wrap things up?
If you enjoy content like this, please consider supporting the Banff Podcast Patreon.
Indeed. Well, hey, thanks, folks, and we'll catch you next time on the Banff Podcast.